It's a very biblical time right now if you're believing in Bible. Even if you're not, it's still a very biblical time. And I think the difference that comes in here is that a lot of economists, financial planners, people like that, they're all planning as if things are going to go on like relatively normal. We're going to have a bit of a slump or a bit of a crash, but things are going to be, okay, because there's no frame of reference for what's coming. Am I a doomsdayer? No, I think I'm a realist. And I think, I remember somebody saying once, only live today. And I'm like, yeah, but what you live today, the checks that you write today, you're going to cash tomorrow. And I think society's written a lot of checks. And out of their lust, their pleasure, their self-importance, they've just lost touch with reality. They've lost touch with their own hearts. They've lost touch with what's going on. And I think people say, is God doing this to us? It's no. We've done it to ourselves. And I think it's the payment for our wrong. The payment, our own wages for our own behaviour. So you hear some of these ones go to gold, and I've said this before and I want to reiterate it. Yeah, some of these things may prolong the journey of pain, and I'm not saying don't do it, but I want to be really clear here that there is no answer other than the faith in God that's going to pull you through this one. We are going to see a collapse. I think the globalists have orchestrated, but I do believe the globalists, they're going to realise that it's even out of their control, the things that have happened. I do believe we're going to see a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, and a lot of getting back to reality. I think these people that manipulate the world and manipulate the financial system of the world and the power brokers of the world, so to speak, the kings of the world, they've forgotten that there's a God. They think they're God. The Antichrist that thinks that he's God. and in reality, the reality's on the way. The reality's on the way. So, you can look and say, well, what do I do? And I think the answer doesn't lie in one singular event. The answer doesn't lie in, let's go to gold, let's go to crypto, anybody can see that crypto is a creation, a Trojan horse of the globalists. Gold, we've had gold confiscated before, right? Where gold's got to be turned into the government. Do you genuinely think that the economy is going to collapse and they're not going to come after your gold? And like I've said in the past, I won't hand it in. Okay, so what? Mum and pup? You're prepared to trade on the black market. You're prepared to risk 10 years in jail. You're prepared to risk a $100,000 fine. You're prepared to risk that? Let's be realistic. Come on. Most people are not. So I think a lot of the pressure that's going to come is going to push people into where they want us to be, because they own the narrative and they own the counter narrative. Because the narrative is the God of this world or the eternal Father. And I think, I've said this in previous videos, that they're going to get exposed. And once they get exposed, which has happened, I think there's going to be a 3-year window for people to get themselves on their feet. And I think even the digital IDs, where people have pushed back in England and there's all these pushbacks on different things, they're gonna buy some time, yeah. But I think we've got about 3 years until major opposition arises once that time comes. Once that time comes where we gain some ground. 3 years. And then in 3 years, I think we're going to see a sovereign move of God's love on this earth, where people are going to realise they're loved. They're going to realise that God is their answer, that faith is what will take them through what's coming. And then I think we're going to see major persecution will arise. So I just encourage you, I'm just a voice saying, hey, there is no hope in this world. There's no hope. We've learned that with the political parties. If you want to go left, don't want to go left, they go right. If they don't want to go right, they go left. But what's that saying everyone's using? Left or right? It's two wings on the same bird. The politicians are all working for a higher power, not God. I mean, God's in control, but I think these politicians are working for a God of themselves, an antichrist agenda and spirit that is biblical, of biblical proportions, that tells us where this is going. You look at Israel, they talk about Israel, and you know, there's Bible prophecies that talk about the nations surrounding Israel. I think Israel will pretty much be alone in a lot of what they do. The US won't be able to back them up because their economy is going to go bad. They won't have the money to be there. And I think ultimately Israel's going to have to stand on its own merits. And I think in doing that, it's fulfilling Bible prophecy. And there's scriptures that talk about that when you see the army surrounding Jerusalem. And have a look. I'm not sure where it was now. It might be in Matthew, but it's talking about fleeing to the mountains, saying you're better off not being, you know, a pregnant woman. Pray that you're not with child in those times. So I think we're seeing Bible prophecy unfolding. People tend to think that it's all going to happen, and then they're going to go like, oh, that was Bible prophecy. No, you're living it. You're living it. It's just whether or not you're blinded to it or you choose to see it. And there's none so blind as those who refuse to see. And there's none so deaf as those who refuse to hear. Prepare for your future, but prepare for your future divinely. In the what the Bible calls koinonia, a Greek word for fellowship, community, caring, sharing, giving. Look it up. Anyway, keep going. Don't get your hopes on man, because I can tell you now, if you do, you're going to crash and burn. For me, it's that personal walk with Jesus Christ, having in my life, in my heart, walking the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, that'll guard my heart. God bless you. I'm Scott Russell.